Alright class, there's one more thing that I wanted to talk about, something that we would normally talk about when we were together in class, and that is going over the scoring guideline examples and commentary notes as to whether the student got the point or not for the given rows on the rubric. So we did this for the create, and it's good to do it again for the explore. You can see here all the examples that you can look at here of the artifacts and their written responses. Over here you would click on Explore Commentary to say whether, so you would know whether or not the student got the point. So I'm going to open up example A for the artifact, and you can see here that they did what I would call this is an infographic or a poster, I guess is another word for that. So not a lot of words, it's more visual. And this student's topic was facial recognition software. So you can take a look at that. Then when you click on written responses, here's the template that you will use for the College Board. 2A talks about the artifact. My artifact is facial recognition software. Talks about how that particular innovation functions, its purpose. These numbers in brackets are inline citations that will refer to the references at the bottom. So anything you write needs to have a reference to your research. This is not original ideas coming out of your brain or your head. Everything has to tie back to your research. 2B talks about how the student created the artifact. They use something called Google Drawings, and then they talk about where the images came from. And remember, if you're using images from the internet, you all know how to search free for use and always give credit at the bottom of your document in the 2E section. But here's where you talk about what you use. So you might use Canva, you might use Cengage, you might use Word and create a PDF. But again, it's more visual. Not very many words in your artifact. Okay, 2C, you have to talk about one beneficial and one harmful effect the innovation has had or is having on society, economy, or culture. And here's their response. Notice their references to their research, and they did a good job of breaking beneficial and harmful into two separate paragraphs there. 2D talks about the data. So let's look to see what the student's talking about. Pictures and videos through cameras. Images that represents the face. Resolution, focus, brightness. Facial features. And they list a data privacy concern. Okay. Again, the numbers in brackets are referencing their sources at the bottom. Here is 2E, and this is where your sources go. At least two of your sources must have been created since the end of the previous academic year. So for us, that would be May 2019. Online source, here's what you need for that. Print source, interview, make sure you do citations. You can also include here if you pulled any images from the internet or you're using anything that's someone else's work. You would list that here. These numbers here would tie back to your citations that we just looked at up in the individual responses. Okay, so let's see how this student did. If you open up the commentary, it gives you the rubric. we talked about already. So this student received points for all 8 rows. And for each individual row, there's notes about how this was scored. And whenever you see quotes on this commentary, that means it came straight off these are the students' words. It came straight off of their written responses. Here's quotes again for row 3, quotes for row 4, quotes for row 5, row 6 talks about the data, and they're using words from the student. Row 7, they talked about data privacy. You could also focus on security, data privacy, or security concerns. In row 8, to get the point for that row, you have to have at least 3 sources, and those sources have to be cited somewhere up in your writing. So as long as you have at least 3 sources and you cite those up in your writing, you get the points for row 8. Again, look at as many samples as you have time to look at. Here's sample B that got all the points. I think it's always good to find some samples that didn't get the point and to read why. Here on sample D, they did not get the point for row 6. They did not identify the data that the innovation used. They only talked about where the data is coming from, saying that it was given to them by the company. So that's very vague. Remember, on your data, you have to talk about individual data elements. Okay? And that's it for our samples from the College Board. Please click on the link in the agenda and look at the rest of them. Thank you.